I know. All right. So welcome. I'm Robin Truslow, Public Relations Coordinator for Calvert Library. So one of the hats I wear is adult programming. And one of the things that the library does is support small businesses. And so I think of the library and myself as a connector. But when I'm really looking to connect people for small businesses, I look to one of them as the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance, who puts on great programs like this. So I know Dawn's just walking back into the door. So really, this is a great opportunity to learn something you haven't learned yet, meet new people. And Dawn's going to be our brilliant MC tonight. She runs a business that supports contractors, and she'll tell you more, hopefully, about what she does. But the main thing I like her for is being the brains to put together something like this. So I'm going to turn it over to Dawn Tucker. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you to you all for coming out on this rainy evening. And we really appreciate working with the Calvert County Library. They are awesome partners. So, as you well know, from the information that you've all been receiving, the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance had the opportunity to partner with the Calvert Library and all these various resource partners to come tonight to share with you some updates on small businesses, um, things that are happening in and around our community that can help us all to grow. There are a lot of free or no cost resources. We've never seen the amount of support for small businesses that has been given from the federal, state, and local government. So we're glad you're here. We're going to ask our panelists to start moving towards the front. Ms. Oberg and Ms. Hobson and Wayne, if you can all come towards the front. And Danielle, please, we're glad you're here. And one of our guests, so we might be able to take out one of the chairs so you guys can spread out a little bit. But if you want to come this way, so as they come forward, we would like to have folks from the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance, and we're going to introduce our other resource partners. But our treasurer, Christine Coates, if Christine can stand up and wave. Rosanna Vogt, she is our vice president. Chris Banks, she is on the board, one of our phenomenal board members. And then there are other folks that are here that are members of the organization. We are based here in Calvert County. We've been here since 2005. And we are a nonprofit member organization, but right now we're afforded the opportunity not to have to take a membership fee, because we feel that if we don't have to, we're going to utilize the resources that are available to us, sponsorships, etc., to be able to bring programming to our community, because we know we all have all these little things that add up all the time. So, and then we don't want to chase down, as you well know, somebody chasing you down for a membership fee. So, but we have been fortunate enough that that's not something that we have to do. But also throughout this evening, after we finish with our wonderful panel, we're going to introduce some of the resource providers who are here. And then we're going to let you guys get up and network and enjoy the refreshments, because we want you to talk to the resources that are here. Maryland Saves, the Small Business Development Center here in Calvert County, the Maryland Business Opportunity Center, and the Governor's Office of Small and Minority Affairs. And then the Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce Board Chair Edsel Brown. You want to wave Edsel? Edsel may have to sneak out on us if he has something else. He does. He come running in with his. I said, Edsel, where you been? You look so nice. But Edsel is retired from the Small Business Administration. He's a wealth of knowledge of just resources that you would not realize, just from who he is and where he's been in his whole career. So we have all these people available to us. So again, we're going to have some questions for our panel. If you guys have questions, we're not going to, keep you from asking them, but we are going to afford most of our time this evening to the networking and being able to go around to the various tables. So our panel tonight, Miss Danielle Davis, she is the very first veteran small business enterprise director. I'm going to make you a director for the state of Maryland. Give her applause. And as we know, Veterans is this week, Veterans Day and Veterans. But Danielle she hails from Southern Maryland. I'll let tell about yourself. But Danielle advocates for all businesses, and she understands the state of Maryland. So getting to know her, you won't just learn about veterans programs. You will learn about all the programs that are available for small businesses in the state of Maryland. And we also have Miss Julie Oberg. She is the director of the economic development here in Calvert County. And she's going to share about herself and also different resources and new happenings that are here in Calvert County. And my another dear friend, all these are my friends, but a dear friend, we go back a long time. Miss Sonia Hobson, and Sonia and I, we do similar work. We're both federal government contractors, and we've been beating the bushes for a long time. But Sonia has built a phenomenal bit. She's real quiet, sitting over there in the corner. You got to get her card and get to know her, because Sonia knows, and she's going to share some information about the Capital Region Small Minority Business Development Council. And that is a program that focuses on helping you to plug in with the private sector. Even though she has several contracts and she has several certifications from the state and from the federal government. Sonia, she goes everywhere. She's a rocket scientist. Truly, she's a rocket scientist. Thank you, Sonia, for coming. We also have Mr. Wayne Gleason. Wayne is with the Calvert County Public School Construction, and he has exciting news that's happening with some construction projects here in Calvert County. It's really exciting things. We're getting some new buildings, schools here in Southern Maryland. It's an opportunity, and they really are looking for contractors to support them. So he'll share about that this evening as well. All right. So we're going to ask. So let's go down the line. I'm going to ask a few questions here. The first question is, what is your organization? And please provide a brief overview of what your role is and what your organization does. And we'll start with Danielle.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. I may not need the mic, but good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. I'm Danielle Davis. I am, I'll just say what we do. So we're the Governor's Office of Small Minority and Women Business Affairs. That also includes veterans. And we oversee 3 socioeconomic preference procurement programs for the state contracting arena for the entire state of Maryland. So a lot of people are very familiar with federal contracting and the billions of dollars that are on the federal side, and not really understanding that there are billions of dollars on the state contracting side, and that these 3 programs are for both prime contracting and subcontracting, where there are set-asides or goals on all qualifying contracts for our minority business enterprise, or what we call MBE program. Our small business reserve or certified small business program, and the program I oversee, which is the veteran owned small business enterprise or VSBE program. So a lot of people are very commonly known the acronyms of the federal government of WASBA or Service Disabled, SDVOSB or VOSB. So those programs do not opt you into the state programs. It is completely different and separate. We speak a different language and we do processes completely different. So if you are interested in state contracting, then I can provide you additional information. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here with you tonight. My name, again, is Julie Oberg. I'm the Director of Economic Development here in Calvert County. Calvert County Economic Development, in case you're not familiar with us, we are here to serve our local business community. So we serve as a catalyst to enhance the economy by promoting quality economic development within the parameters set by the comprehensive plan. So we do that to increase the commercial tax base, to generate jobs, to retain business, to stimulate industrial and commercial growth, as well as to increase visitors to our county, which increases tax revenue. So when I came on board, we reorganized our office, and so we are now operating under four main pillars, and that's business development, business retention, agriculture, and tourism. And agriculture and tourism, obviously, are businesses as well, so it's all very much intertwined and supporting each other. So I think that's going pretty well. And the services that we provide range from business attraction and retention. And we celebrate our existing businesses with anniversary recognition ceremonies. I know Lisa has taken advantage of some of those, and ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, and site selection assistance. We work with folks on workforce development, infrastructure and land development, access to capital, marketing and branding, policy advocacy and collaboration, as well as market research and economic analysis. If you're looking for any kind of reports about data or demographics, we've got a couple different platforms that we can use on your behalf to create reports and provide information on available properties for lease or for sale, historical transaction data, market conditions, property details, and competitive analysis. We also have another platform that helps do some analytics about the labor market and real-time data to be able to look at market, like the workforce planning and talent acquisition decisions. So if you're looking to be able to expand, we can help you analyze what the market looks like here in the county. We also, I don't know which questions we're going to be getting to at one point in time, but I know that Katrina is back there with the Small Business Development Center, and she's our Southern Maryland, specifically Calvert County representative, and we help to pay for her as a full-time position, and it's no cost business counseling services and training for new entrepreneurs and existing businesses. She can also help with business plans and getting you connected with capital. They do workshops and a lot of other different things. So I'm not sure if Katrina's still in the room now or not, but that's a nice plug for her. So definitely please make sure you take advantage of those free services. I guess one other thing that we do, we serve as an ombudsman. So if you're looking to be, doing anything with the county, if you're having like permitting issues or things like that, we help, as a concierge service to basically walk you through the permitting process. So please don't hesitate to reach out to our office if we can be of assistance. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you all something as a business owner. I don't see enough people taking notes. I don't see enough people pulling out their thing. There you go. That's what we do. So if you write it down, I'm of the age now where remembering stuff is a waste of time because I'm not going to remember it. So write it down, take notes, pull out your phone, record, because that's a lot of good information to have if you hadn't already taken advantage of it. As Don said, my name is Sonia Hobson. My company is Sage Services Group LLC, and I tell people we do two things. We help design, build, and launch spacecraft, and we help design, build, and launch people. So we have an engineering component of our business that we do. We've been doing work in and around NASA and NOAA for like the last 15, 20 years. By the time I left Calvert County and moved to Prince George's County because that commute to Greenbelt from White Sands was killing me. So it's like, gotta move. And then we help on a lot of the professional services. The Maryland programs, everything. I think we've got just about all the letters and all the certs except for veteran ones on the federal and state side, and then certified in about 7 different states because we do work pretty much across the country. But I'm here today to talk specifically about the Capital Region Minority Supplier Development Council, which is an organization that helps certify, develop, and advocate businesses as you enter the commercial and private sector. So who shops at Walmart? Who shops at Target? Who puts gas in their car? Who eats at different restaurants? Anybody love TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross, all those good people, Macy's, Bloomingdale's? Those people are looking for you in your business. And so when we get into a little bit more of the detail, this is a certification. Now, the downside is it's not free. Just a sizable portion, not a huge portion, but it is according to your revenue every year. If you come in as a class one, that means less than $1 million in revenue. It's about $350 to get certified. But when you get certified, it's not that the contracts come running to your door, but you now enter a room where you're having conversations. We had a conference this past October with about 5,000 people there, and everything from Toyota, Honda, again, Macy's, Amazon, all of the companies that support supplier diversity, and that's men, women, minority, veteran owned, all kinds of different categories. Everything from the nuts and bolts that go on a Learjet to what if you want to put something on the shelves in a Walmart, Target, or Macy's is represented by this organization, and it is a national cert, and there's 23 councils across the country. So to get certified here in the capital region, which is the full state of Maryland, DC, and Virginia down to Richmond, another council picks up Richmond, Virginia, North Carolina. So you get certified in one council, that doesn't mean that you can't do business all over the world. And there are international chapters as well, Canadian, a few over in the UK, and a few in Asia. So that's what, Dawn asked me to, make sure I'm aware of. There's 3 flyers that's over there. We have not only the certification component, our region actually runs a minority business development center. It's headquartered in Virginia, but you have access to it. There's also a minority business development agency center in Baltimore. And that's part of the government world, but you can go there and get free counseling through that point. And if you're looking for capital, our council has won a grant called the Capital Readiness Program, where they offer training so that you can go and get the money that you need also to be able to support what the county and all can do for you to help you get additional financing. So that's what we're here to represent.
Good evening, everybody. Again, Wayne Gleason, Calvert County Public Schools, happy to be here. Appreciate your time and participation this evening. Again, I work for Calvert County Public Schools. It's the largest employer in the county. We have approximately 15,000 students enrolled in our schools. We have 25 schools in our Board of Education facility off Dares Beach Road. So I work in the planning construction department. I'm the supervisor there. So we have many projects. Ranging from HVAC systemic projects, roof replacements. It could be a playground, parking lot improvements, a new school. I'm excited for Northern Middle School. I'm sure most of the community's heard about that. Very exciting. So a lot of diverse projects. These projects are state funded, which include funds from the state, which requires MBE requirements. So additionally, we traditionally do a MBE goal analysis, and we establish participation percentages that apply to these contracts and these projects, and we have sub goals as well for African American and women-owned businesses. So again, a lot of diverse projects. Very proud of that. Our mission in our department is to create healthy learning environments for our youth. To enhance their education, to prepare them, for the next steps post graduation. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Robin is the library is, the wealth of services, and some who could not make it this evening due to other circumstances, we're glad they'll be able to partake of the information. And we also have to give a shout out to Maryland Saves. They're going to be all the service providers are going to come up and say hello and give some overview of what they do as well. But Maryland Saves is a great program, and you're coming from where? Hunt Valley. So we appreciate you coming down to Southern Maryland. All right, and the next question, and if you have a question, don't hesitate to raise your hand if you have a question, okay? It's informal. Yes, sir. Good evening. Okay.
What website? Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic question. Yeah. So yes, ma'am. Yeah. So this gentleman was asking where we post our solicitations for our projects. They are posted in 3 locations. So the first one is on the Calvert County Public Schools website. If you go to the Planning and Construction Department webpage, you'll see a link there for RFPs. They'll be listed there. The second location is in the local newspaper here in Calvert County. And then the third and final location where we post those is Emma, the eMaryland Marketplace. That is traditionally the best location. We get so much participation because of that avenue, when it gets posted there. So, so those are the 3 locations.
And I
Great
can
question.
talk about Emma more later.
Opinion on Emma, because that's where a lot of Calvert County government's postings for solicitations also go on the marketplace for Calvert County government. Okay, so it is a lot of information that we have to absorb here. The next question is, how does your organization support small businesses? And are your services low cost or no cost?
Um, that was a 2-part question. So let me get to the first part first. So our certifications are 100% free. You should not be paying anyone for our state certifications. Our Small Business Reserve, our Certified Small Business Prime Contracting Program, is a same-day certification in our Emma platform. Emma stands for eMaryland Marketplace Advantage, and she is temperamental. But that is the statewide bid board, or what we call home base, for all solicitations and contracts over $15,000 on a state level. And we also allow county, cities, and even private enterprises to solicit on our bid board. That's very important because our Emma portal also houses our databases of our veteran and our small business directories. So it is literally our home base for everything, as well as a matchmaking portal. So when you create a profile, and there's a flyer on my table about Emma. When you create a vendor profile, you are going to be required to enter what we call commodity codes, or for the state, a lot of people, by show of hands, does anybody know what a NAICE code is? All right, you can put your hands down. We don't use NAICE codes. We use, on the state side, I told you we're much different than the federal government. On the state side, we use UNSPSC codes, or United Nations Standard Product and Service codes. Those are an 8-digit number. And for one NAICE code, there's probably 5 to 10 different UNSPSC codes. And so, and one thing I did forget to mention is that for the entire state of Maryland, we have over 70 plus different state agencies that make up the entire procurement system. So we're over the casinos, the stadiums, the state school systems like Bowie State, Coppin, Morgan, St. Mary's College, University of Maryland, Towson, the list goes on. A lot of people think when they hear of state procurement, you think about, building or maintenance, and they don't really understand that we have a hand in everything that happens here in this state. So, and there's money. That's why we say there are billions of dollars, because it really is. So free certifications for these diversity programs, the solicitations are held on Emma, as well as the market research. We talk about that. That is very important for training small businesses to understand that the state of Maryland may not be everyone's customer. You may have a specific niche. Your value proposition may be great, but the state of Maryland is going to buy what the state of Maryland buys. I'll give you one example. Cannabis just became legalized here, and prior we had not had any type of procurements towards cannabis. There was a commission. We now have a Maryland Cannabis Commission that is funded through us or through the state now. And lo and behold, we get a call that they're going to start putting out procurements. And we're like, okay, that's great. But know that, times change. Just because you may use Emma and the market research on Emma, it's not, it's always what's past. And then what solicitations are present. And then we also have a procurement forecast. We require all of our state agencies to tell us how they're going to spend their money of all contracts that are projected to be over $100,000. So that information is public to you. Our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th. So we are in that sweet spot right now of midway through our fiscal year. And you'll be able to use that procurement forecast. They have to tell you when they're interested in putting out those type of solicitations on Emma. Quarter 1, Quarter 2, Quarter 3, Quarter 4, as well as an estimated value so that you can also plan for the future. We have a Okay. We train you how to do business. I don't want you to think that I'm just sitting up here and you have to know everything. We have a complete training channel on our website. We have events. I don't know if I even answered the question, but all of our stuff is free. I'll leave it at that. No, it's on our website.
It's on-
The governor's office. It's on Fire
Got 'em all.
If you got our pamphlet, our free travel, our website is at the on front and back. And we can talk after. No. Our on the state contracts and contracts are for profit businesses only. So no, that is only for profit businesses can be eligible for our programs. And for you, obviously you want to get paid for the work that you do. So you do have to, there are 3 things. You have to be in good standing with the state of Maryland, with the Department of Assessment and Taxation. You do have to be for profit and you have to meet the SBA side standards in order to be small business, considered small business. And each of the other programs have either race or gender specific or neutral requirements or industry specific requirement eligibility.
Any other questions? No, okay. I realized that I didn't do a good job of following the directions from the first question, so I jumped the gun a little bit. I will tell you though that well, there's a flyer that's out front. This is the black and white version, but it's on the registration table, and it talks about all the different services that our Department of Economic Development provides for the business community. One thing I didn't mention is that you had asked about grants. So the Maryland Department of Commerce does have a lot of grants that are available. They have a whole webpage that it's dedicated to grants. And then on our website, choosecalvert.com, we also have it might be choosecalvert.gov. I don't remember right now, but if you Google Calvert County Economic Development, our website will pop up. And we also have a grants page there that it pulls from a lot of different sources, and we try to keep that as up to date as possible. The one big thing that we didn't talk about yet that hopefully will be a benefit to our local business community is local preference. So I know that the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance, as well as the Calvert Chamber of Commerce, and then the Southern Maryland Minority Business the Minority Chamber has also been instrumental in pushing the local preference forward. And this past legislative session, it came through. And so, oh yeah, our website is, that's the whole county's website. Ours is Choose Calvert. Thank you. And so basically that launched, we've got a press release out there that talks a little bit more specifically about that, but the whole goal is to be able to, it's called the Resident Business Percentage Preference Program, RBP3. And that's going to basically provide some extra consideration for local businesses to give an edge over outside of the county businesses for local, for businesses competing for Calvert County contracts. And it's a percentage-based preference to the local businesses in the bidding process. Resident businesses receive a 5% deduction on the bid price when competing for contracts that are valued below $30,000, and then 5% up to $25,000 for contracts that are over $30,000. So that sounds a little bit confusing. Our Matthew Nelson is our new Deputy Director of Operations within Calvert County Finance and Budget. He was here earlier today, and he is going to be hiring a procurement chief who's going to be overseeing that. So this is, again, it's a new program. We've got a new deputy director. We've got a new chief that'll be coming in. And as soon as we get all those pieces in place, then we're going to be doing an outreach campaign to do some education to be able to, you know, help make sure that everyone knows how to take advantage of that new program. But the biggest thing I can tell you to do is to register on Emma. And then once you're registered, you'll be able to get alerts and about current contracts and things that you can bid on there. I think that answers the question. Any questions for me? Okay.
I have the sub job of telling you that this certification I'm talking about today is not free. And what we do when we're working with other small businesses, what I tell people is this: sign up for SBR first, then get certified through the state of Maryland, then come over to the commercial market. And here's why. The same information that you need to provide for the state are the same information that you need to provide when you're going for a commercial cert. So the National Minority Supplier Development Council, if you did MDOT right, and you got your taxes and your profit and loss statements and all of your things in order, if you have all of that done and you have it in a folder, when you come here, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy, because it's the same information that they're going to ask for. The reason why it is a paid certification is because the organization has membership set up for the corporations. The corporations are members. They are buying into the organization to have access to you. So it is, and each council is its own nonprofit. So I told you there's 23 councils across the country. Each council is its own nonprofit. So you're actually paying for the staff to go through and process your paperwork so that you can be certified. And then you have access, all of the meetings, all of the access, all of the activities. There's a lot of free training that occurs. We got ready for, I was telling you, a big conference we got ready for. PepsiCo came online with their procurement agency and set online and told about 1,000 businesses what it takes to do business with Pepsi. JP Morgan Chase will come on and they'll tell you what you need to do business with JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase, Capital One, and many of those companies, if they don't have contracts, they have training and development programs that you can participate in for free. I went through a 6-month program with Capital One, and it was called the Catapult program. And you know, you got these ideas churning inside your head and you want to try to figure it out. Well, we were taken to Dallas 3 times to Capital One's one of their headquarters. We were in Tyson's in McLean, Virginia, working with them, and they taught us how to bring our ideas to life. And at the end, there was a pitch competition that we did. The first winner was a gentleman who woke up one morning and he was blind. He had been creating software, websites, all this kind of stuff for years, woke up one morning and couldn't see, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And then once he went through a lot of medical assistance trying to get right, he realized everything that he had ever created was of no help to people who were visually impaired. So he pivoted his entire business to creating digital devices, digital components for people who were visually impaired. He came into the Catapult program, 6 months. We were meeting like once or twice a week for 6 months. He won our pitch competition. He walked away with about $25,000. I think $350 worth $25,000. Does that sound pretty cool? Myself and another person, we came in second place. We were developing a training platform. And we had access to leadership in Capital One who sat down with us and helped us come up with the ideas for our company and how we want to do that. The organization I'm not representing, but I am certified through, another one is WeBank, the Women's Business Enterprise Network. I never remember what the C is, so don't judge me. But it's the same thing. WeBank is for women-owned businesses, and you're certified and you have access to commercial entities. So if you, anything that you could think about doing, I mean, right down to the bottles of water that are on the table, that is where you have the access. And the certification is only because the organizations that actually do the cert are nonprofits. And again, it goes by income. If you make less than $1 million, it's $350, and you pay that every year to recert. And then they have class twos, which is like $1 million to 10, then 10 to 50, and then 50 million and above. So you can be everybody who does not want to grow their business. Okay, good. You all answered that right. You're paying attention. So if you want to grow your business, these are certifications that will exceed beyond the size standards that a lot of the other certifications that you have. They'll expire once you are no longer small. You get a loan 50, 100 million or so on. So once this is just a certification that will take you beyond the small business size standard, to the point that there's one of the largest technology companies is a company called Worldwide Tech. Look it up when you get a chance. They started in somebody's garage, similar to the story of Amazon. They now have a multi-billion-dollar technology company that they're doing work around the world, and they're bringing up other small businesses and partnering with them. Anybody ever heard of the woman Janice Bryan Howard? Look it up. The company is called Act One. She started as a basic HR and staffing company, multi-billion-dollar company. Sheila Johnson, you guys heard of her? She's in our council. There's people who own hotels in our council. So your certification will be able to do that. Matter of fact, Hilton, Marriott are both in the Capital Region Council. So those are opportunities to be able to say, and hotels buy everything from towels to toilet tissue. They also buy professional services. So when you're looking at what you want your business to do, you want to have a good blend. You want to make sure that you're at your local county. I'm located in Prince George's County, so we're certified in Prince George's County. We are also certified by the state of Maryland. We are certified in the federal government, and then we're certified in those markets. And we have streams of revenue in each one of those, because you don't want all of your stuff in one basket. We were 90% fed when they went on furlough, and people were catching their breath, and we were blessed that the agencies that we were working with were already funded. And not only were they already funded, they were fee-based agencies. So my company kept working all throughout the government furlough and shutdown because we were providing necessary services. Imagine if we weren't, then we would have lost everything and then had to start over. So work in your county, work at the state, then bring in that commercial component so that you can, as the economy waves and moves, you can make sure that you've got yourself kind of planted on all those different planes. I love questions. Yeah.
Any more differences? Just talk about diversify.
So the question was, what is the biggest difference between pursuing things at the federal versus pursuing things at state? And I'm gonna throw in there pursuing them at commercial. The federal government is, you have to know who you're buying from. Who is buying what you are selling? If you don't have this website, usaspending.gov should be bookmarked. usaspending.gov. That is every nickel that the federal government spends that they have to give an account for. And that includes contracts, grants, and loans. So if you are selling something, you go there and put in what you're selling, who's buying it, you can see who they're buying it from, and you can see how much they spent when they bought it. It is very research intensive to be able to do the federal government. The RFPs are no joke. They play, you have to answer the mail for everything that they're asking for. And if you can't do it, team. Now, that's something that the federal government and the state are pushing a lot more of. If you show up at the door and it's just you, you're going to get a weird look because they all they see when they see just you is risk. If you show up with two or three other people that you have in this room and you present a combined capability showing combined past performances or even your individuals of how you can solve that problem, their risk goes from pegging in the red to coming back over towards the green. So that's the biggest thing with the Fed is that you can't show up alone. You need to show up with a team and you need to understand what they're asking for. And you need to know that you can live by their terms. Because it is very true, even though they have clauses that say you get paid in 30 days, that's 30 days from a properly submitted invoice. I will tell you this, if you win a contract, you should show up at your kickoff meeting with a draft copy of the invoice that you plan to submit in 30 days. I learned this from someone, and when I tell you that has kept our accounts receivables very fast, because on day one, we're telling you what you told us in the RFP to do. And if something's wrong, we're going to fix it right here in this table because I don't want any questions about how this is going to go down in 30 days when I submit it to you. The state, we have a contract with the comptroller's office. That one was interesting because we won it when the primaries were going on. And they were like, oh, we're ready to get started. Ooh, can we wait until the primaries are over? Sure. And we waited till the primaries are over. And ooh, can we get started? But can we wait now until the election is over? Sure. So a contract that we started back in February, we actually didn't start work on until October. And so you just have to be patient. And that's probably something that's a little bit harder when it comes to the state. It's just you have to be patient with how things come out, when they're going to be awarded, and you need to know who that customer is and why they should buy from you. That we really have to explain that at the state level. And their forms are complex. Read the forms, answer every block, and when they put out a Q&A session, you need to have read it from top to bottom and ask questions about anything that don't make sense. Do not assume. You know what assume stands for, right? Okay, we're gonna let that go. But don't assume anything. Ask questions. And when you go to the GOSMA office or anywhere, they're good to be able to help you answer the questions because you can't always go to the people that wrote the RFP because there's a blackout time where they can't talk to you. Commercial businesses want to know this. If we don't pay you for 90 days, are you going to be okay? They don't follow the FAR. They don't follow state rules. They don't have any of that. And if it's not in the contract, it doesn't matter. So when you're responding to, and their RFPs are not posted in a forecast, relationship on the commercial side. Talk to people in the bathroom, talk to people when they're getting their lunch, run into them wherever you can, and be patient. We had one company that works with AstraZeneca. They got a multi-million-dollar contract from AstraZeneca. Do you know how long they chased them to get that? About 8 years. They chased them for 8 years. But they kept doing the research. They kept putting it out there. They kept in touch with their supplier diversity person. Hey, we just had this happen over here. Commercial work is the long game. And they will tell you, a lot of commercial agencies will tell you the same thing. If you are a marketing company, anybody do marketing in here? What are some of you all's names? What you do? I asked the question. Huh? Home care. What else we got? Huh? Ooh, taxes. Okay. Anybody else? Child care, real estate. I couldn't hear you. Retail. So if you want to be on the shelf in a grocery store and you don't understand how they move products, Wegmans, Dollar General, Walmart, they really not going to want to talk to you. Macy's actually offers a class for people who want to do retail that all the other retailers going to look to see, have you been through Macy's program? I don't sell stuff to Macy's. Doesn't matter. Go through their class. Find out who they are. Go to their class because they'll talk to you about seasons. They'll talk to you about ordering. They'll talk to you about pricing because at the end of the day, they want you to win. They do want you to win. But if you're making chairs and you only make 100 chairs a year, MGM is not going to buy chairs from you. You put their business at risk if all you make is 100 chairs. But if you make 100 chairs and you make 100 chairs and you make 100 chairs and you all come there together, you can tell MGM, hey, we can provide you, 5,000 chairs every year if that's what you need. So that's how they work.
Can I piggyback on that really quick? I wanted to also make sure that you understand that the most successful small businesses have, like she said, arms in both the public sector, which is federal, state, county, city government, and then also in the private sector. Those are your other small businesses, private enterprises, commercial. So you want to understand the landscape of both public and private, and like she said, have revenue in both. If retail, well, specifically because you're retail, yes, you want to make sure you're supporting your county, your community. You have, that relationships, I think, are things you're going to hear about that is very important no matter where you go. So yes, establishing yourself in your county and supporting other small businesses, and then your competitors, because there are going to become a time where they're going to grow out potentially of these small business programs, and then who's the next big dog on the market. So it's good to know who your competitors are, and if they end up wanting to be a prime contractor, or and there's a component on a contract that they end up having to sub out, as the gentleman said, they have specific goals that they have to sub out this subcontracting work to a minority, to a veteran, to other entities. Then who are they going to look for? The people that they know and trust and will want to do business with, because you've built that relationship. You can't just do business with anybody. So building those relationships are very important on both the public and the private sectors.
And I know we're supposed to, I'm gonna pass the mic. I promise. But she mentioned competitors. We don't refer to our people as competitors. We're called competimates. Because today we might be going against each other on a particular bid. And tomorrow, I need you, you need me. The only way we're going to win it is if the two of us do it together. So you have to have your head on a swivel. Like, who are the people that you could be head to head one day, but they could be your teammates the next? And someone told me a long time ago, it's like when you talk about trusting people, they were, how do you trust people? You can trust them, but you still sign them. Non-disclosure agreements, teaming agreements before the contract comes in, subcontracting and contracting agreements when it comes out. You don't do anything unless it is in writing and signed. And if you just got to find somebody, anybody, a lawyer in here, we got some there. You need people to read it, because you'll get so excited about what comes across your desk and you don't realize you just sold your soul to the devil and the next 3 generations. So you want somebody that's going to read it and tell you what goes wrong, what can go wrong, and then get yourself prepared early, because sometimes things do go wrong for whatever reason, but sign them.
Yep, we call it the bail. Your banker, your accountant, your insurance, and your lawyer. Every small business, even if you do not have that in your back pocket, you need to be able to have a relationship with those so that you can get them on retainer.
That's great. I mean, this is some really, really important. No, this is important. Wayne, did you want to add something to the question about services that you provide to small businesses?
Yeah, so the services we provide to small businesses, again, it's we with all of our contracts, we implement those MBE requirements into our contracts to support the small local minority business enterprises, and make sure that those bigger contractors are, sharing a piece of the pie with with those smaller businesses. So again, we use the Maryland Department of Transportation directory for our certified firms. We use the NAICS codes. We perform that MBE goal analysis and establish those participation requirements, and then implement those into our contracts. And then that is all agreed to upfront when we go to issue that notice to proceed and issue that contract award. So everybody knows what those expectations are upfront.
And the for the Northern Middle School and here is Calvert's biggest project for public schools is the prime right now. Do they provide some help?
Yeah, so so the construction delivery method is construction manager at risk. And the school district has partnered with Keller Brothers Construction. They're in Mount Airy, Maryland. So they are essentially our general contractor, and they are going to solicit. We're currently soliciting trade packages for various disciplines of work. Electrical work, mechanical work, site work, specialties, finishes, all those different activities of work. So that's happening Monday, November 18th.
Landscaping. What about something like fingerprinting? I'm just curious. Is that something that they might work with possibly? They may need that type of help.
I couldn't foresee that. No,
Mhm.
no. Honestly.
Okay.
They do have so we will have a security program. With we just don't want anybody coming onto our construction site. So that is part of the protocol. So contractors will be vetted, fingerprinted essentially, but that's an internal process with that contractor. That could potentially be
But you
subbed out.
never know, they might sub it out.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Because that's something that everybody needs. Security is huge.
Absolutely.
Fingerprinting.
Yes.
So that's good information. We are going to keep moving along because there's so many folks here, and we know you want to talk to all of our resource partners. But what I would like to have is really quickly Rosanna vote, and then I'm going to have Annette Bryan. She is also here. She's with GSA Federal Solutions. And one of our questions that, and Lynette is good with this. And Lynette, I think this is what is your purpose tonight, including sharing what you do very briefly. But what is a tip or word of encouragement that you can share? And Lynette talks about she has a motivation. She can tell you a lot about the federal government contracting, but she's also going to share a little bit about motive because that's what we all need right now, a little bit of motivation. But Rosanna is going to share a little bit about some of these community projects that are going on for the holidays. One of them is called the Heart Project. And one of our members, Mandy, she has a marketplace and she had to leave, but they're having a marketplace this Saturday on Main Street. It's Mandy's Main Street. It's a beautiful shop. And sir, what is your retail store? And where are you going to be located? So you haven't opened yet. Okay. And you've been working with Calvert Economic Development. Okay. Okay, well, this is the person to talk to. Okay. Right. 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 Well, these resources is perfect. That's going to be the next thing we do. We want everybody, because everyone needs help with what you're about to do and excel in. So Rosanna, and then we're going to go to Lynette, and then we're going to wrap up with everyone going to the vendors. And also, please make sure if you haven't eaten that you get a snack box with you.
Yes. And make sure that you sign up for CCMBA. It's totally free. And we do something much different than the chamber. We do hold these events pretty often. The Heart Project is what I have some flyers here of the history and also of the fundraiser. Um, Barbara Buchanan started the Heart Project. It's called Healing. I won't be able to do it right. Anyway, uh, please just know that she's doing a lot of things. She works with women who have experienced a lot of trauma, and she also has found that helping women when they leave, like the domestic violence shelter or other shelters, getting set up in their homes is needed. And so she's doing a fundraiser, and so please come and get the flyer uh, for the fundraiser, and also for she has a small thing here for the history. With regard to Mandy Lee's, she has space for people to come and have parties. She'll do workshops for you with regard to art. She works with children as well. And so, you can have a one-on-one or have a class or a workshop. And she also is magic with regard to making your place look fabulous. So her place is called Mandy Lee's um, Vintage Shop and Studio, and it's at 136 Main Street in a 100-year-old home. If you're interested in history, there's a lot of history in that area, and possibly even a ghost, which is always fun. And this Saturday from 11:30 to 3:30, she has vendors, a food truck, and Christmas door decor. So please come out to that. She's one of the partners to the Circle of Angels initiative, which is the nonprofit that I founded, Rosanna Vogt. And the name of the nonprofit is Circle of Angels Initiative. And we propel people from poverty to prosperity in policy and advocacy. And one of our big issues is entrepreneurship, because you need income.
Getting old. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to see you all, and I'm happy that you're here. Dawn is such an asset. I tell you, she's like, she know what has to be done, and she know how to get the right people in the place to make it happen. So I'm really thank you, Don, for inviting me here tonight. I'm not going to talk but a minute because I know it's late, and I apologize that I'm late because I missed some of the information. But I am going to piggyback on some of the information that was up here. A little bit about me. I am Lynette Bryan. And another thing, I don't want to just scare you guys into the federal government arena, and they're looking for you in the county and want you to do work in the schools. But we're going to talk about that because you are going to be needed in the schools to have past performance to come to the federal government. But however, I started out working with GSA. I worked with GSA, the federal government, for 30 years. When I first started in the federal government, I worked for NTIS, Department of Commerce. And we made the publications for government agencies. Because government, many, many years ago, they always went and got resources from each agency. I'm going to tell my age a little bit, because back in the early 80s, I worked and I awarded contracts working with NTIS, Department of Commerce. They used to talk about privatizing. So we were like, man, I came out of Chicago, good government job. They ain't gonna privatize. These are good government jobs. We got job security. Well, guess what? A few months later, we got a memo on our desk. Back then when they used to have the memos, remember? We got a memo saying that our office was moving to Kansas City. I was working right in Arlington in Virginia, and I was like, I just left Chicago. I'm not going to Kansas City. So what did everybody do? They applied for jobs and they abolished the office, and people went scattering to other agencies. So they did kind of like privatize that office because it no longer exists. I went over to GSA, and that was my biggest challenge. GSA was facilitating the buying power for the federal government. So I went there working with the acquisitions team, and we started awarding really big contracts to really big companies. It was disgusting. It was sickening. Looking at all you guys here, small businesses, awarding $500 million contract to the same big boys. I knew eventually something was going to give. And then now to this day, they don't. She was exactly right. You can't go to the federal government alone. They want teaming partners. So now they don't want to give those big companies those big contracts. They want a team. They want the $500 million contracts. They want at least 3 or 4 companies. So teaming is essential. Years ago, when we used to have our companies and we didn't want to tell our friends our company, didn't want to tell them that you want to know your friends, you want to know your competitors because you do want to team with them to offer a total solution. Now, even working with GSA, it's like, okay, this is a really big challenge. They help small businesses. The quickest way to do business with the federal government is the GSA contract. It's the primary vehicle that the government use. Back in elementary school, they teach you supply what's in demand. So you want to be able to supply what's in demand, and then you want to be able to say who's spending the money. So who's spending the most money today? Do anybody know who's spending the most money? Well, thanks a lot, Don. The federal government is the largest buyer. So what do they buy? What do the federal government buy? They buy almost anything you do commercially. So when she asks what you guys do, the government has a demand for everything. They also have a demand for consulting. So a lot of you guys are doing consulting and don't even know it. They may not buy your clothes specifically that you're selling your retail, but they will buy the consultant part of it because the government has to buy clothes for the military. They have to buy clothes for the people in the prisons. So keep in mind, the government buy almost anything you do commercially. So you want to know how to get that ticket and how do I get it? Certifications. So we're not talking on a local level certifications. We're talking as an 8A, as a minority certification. The government can award you up to 5 million without even, that's a sole source, without even advertising. Women owned, you want to get your certifications. Even if you're going after state and local, even if you're going after the county, you're going to be more substantial having those certifications because the government say the more you put in your company, the more substantial you are. So I don't want to piggy on that. I will give you guys, I know it's late, I'll give you my website. I'll be glad to do a one-on-one consultation with you guys to know how do I get in that line? How do I meet those government requirements? It's very simple. It's not like it used to be. Many years ago, people used to say, oh, I don't want to do work with the federal government. Well, the federal government wouldn't be spending. They need you. They need small businesses. Everything that this panel said is said on a county level, the federal government is waiting for you guys to get that past performance, to be able to team with partners and be able to offer a total solution. I'm up for any questions anybody may have really quick. If you have any questions on how do I market or how can I meet those federal government requirements, very simple. Meet the requirements, have past performance. GSA contracts, you have to have past performance. They look at class of past performances, meaning that if you want to sell the government shoes, you have to show them that you've sold them before. Then they look at what type of customer. They look at your national corporate accounts, where you may have sold to the big boys, Amazon. They look at the small accounts. Then they look at your commercial end users, could be your next door neighbor. As long as you sold something to your next door neighbor and you can show an invoice to show that you sold that product, that's how the government determine your rates to be fair and reasonable. So keep in mind, each and every one of you guys are consultants. You just want to be able to identify the type of consulting you're doing. Almost anything you're doing, you're a consultant. And you have the past performance already as being a small business and having very small sales, 35,000, 50,000 a year can get you government contracts. So I don't want to overrule the fact that the county has a lot of work. Sure. Well, I facilitate GSA contracts. It's a 200-page solicitation. So you got to know government language. So I get companies GSA contracts. These are 20-year contracts. So keep in mind, this is a vehicle. It's not an actual acquisition contract. It's a vehicle. So if you guys market to the federal arena, the agencies, you may talk to a federal agency, and the first thing she's going to say, do you have a GSA contract? So they want you because what GSA does in a nutshell, what they do is they stand in front of the company and they tell the entire government, because you're marketing to one customer, which is all over the United States, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. They tell the entire government this company has to pass performance because they do all of the evaluation. This company rates are fair and reasonable because they standardize that rate. So once you show them invoices on what you've sold, your product or your services, then GSA is going to look for a little discount, but they're going to tell the government their rates are fair and reasonable, so they make the ordering easy for the government. So I do want to touch a little bit on motivation, because if we don't get it now, we'll never get it. Now is the time that we really got to step one foot in front of the other. You're already doing it because you're here. So I'm really impressed to see as many people here seeing that motivation in you guys, but don't let it go. Fight it. If an agency or a county tell you you didn't get that contract, don't give up. You know, only the strong survive. Keep going. Don't give up, because what you want to do is you want to meet the requirements and you want to knock at the door and don't leave without an answer. Okay? So good luck to all of you. My company is GSA Federal Solutions. That's my website. If you guys want to have a one-on-one consultation, please give me a call. I mean, I will definitely set up a 30-minute where I'll tell you anything you need to know about marketing to the government. So I'm gonna leave it back to the county. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lynette. Thank you so much. So we're going to close. I know if there's several questions, but now we're going to open it up. Please go to all the resources that are here. Maryland Business Opportunity Center, along with the Small Business Development Center, they have low, no cost training, consulting services that you got to go talk to them. And then as Danielle is with the governor's office, and then Maryland Saves, and all of the panelists, if they're able to stay. And as Lynette says, you can get their cards. But please definitely network. We'll be here until 7:30, and we do have the refreshments. And thank you for coming. Well, they're gonna go over there and find out. Come here, sir. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, come on, honey. Come on, honey. Give you some love. Danielle tells me that ain't right. From Hunt Valley. Thank you. But this is a great program.
Well, thank you very much, Dawn. So my name is Glenn Simmons. I'm the executive director of Maryland Saves. And Maryland Saves was created by the state legislature in 2016, passed the law that requires, and this language is a little weird, purpose to it. So any business that pays an employee through a payroll service or software product needs to offer their employees access to a retirement plan, right? And the reason they're doing this is because in the state of Maryland, there's about 1 million workers who don't have access to a retirement plan. And research shows that if someone can save for their retirement through a payroll deduction, they're 20 times more likely to do it. And if there's an auto enroll feature, that number creeps up to 20. So our charge was to create this program that is as easy as possible for employers to offer. It took us a while to build it, but we feel like we're pretty successful with that. There is no charge to the employer to offer it. There are small fees that are paid out of the account. So just like anytime you buy a mutual fund, it's the same standard fees, and we're competitive with the Fidelities. And the other piece about it is the whole bill was passed to just extend the access to employees, right? So if you have a business and you already offer a plan, there is an incentive, right? If you participate in Maryland Saves, you qualify for the incentive. If you offer a 401k or another qualified plan to your employees, your business will qualify for the waiver of that SDAT annual report filing fee every year. It's $300 every year. And if you already offer a plan, go to our website, you fill out a form, it takes about 5 minutes, you're on the list. And you just certify that you offer a plan. If you participate in Maryland Saves, you don't have to do anything because we know you're offering a plan and we provide that information. So there's something for every business with Maryland Saves. If you need more information, please come over and talk. You said it was free? Yes, Mr. Cullen, who is an obvious plant. It is 100%.
And the incentive, how much is the incentive?
For you, zero, but $300 for most businesses, right? Family farms pay $100, so that would be a $100 waiver for them. Nonprofits don't pay the $300 fee, so you're not entitled to the waiver if you're not paying it, but you still can get a free retirement plan. That's it. Thank you.
Does anybody else have a question they want to share with the group? Yes, ma'am. Go talk to the inbox people and they'll get you started. They'll give you some free services and then they may be able to give you some recommendations. Okay. All right. Gonna thank you. Please, definitely. We're here until 7:30. Please take advantage.